Hi everybody, welcome to another video. So today, revisiting an old favourite of mine. It's the ANI R160. Now the R160 is the new incarnation of it, so if you're going to buy a new one now, then you would buy the R160. But I've got an R150 as well, which is the one you see here. So I'm going to use that for base and use the R160 for clear coat. But the reason for doing the video really is to just remind me that you don't need to spend loads and loads of money to enjoy your painting and get a good finish. So those that watch the channel regularly will know that I spend a lot of money on spray guns. I'm not a sponsored channel or anything like that, so you know, all the stuff you see I buy, which is the way I want to keep it as well, because it allows me to tell you exactly what I think without having to keep anybody happy to any degree whatsoever. So that's absolutely fine by me. That's effectively what I want. So R160 and R150. I've done a few videos of the differences between the two, so I'll put a link in the description so that I don't have to go through it now really, because it's pointless. I wanted to make the video more about the results of these guns, so I'll put those in the description. So if you want to know what the true differences are, then have a look there and you'll be able to see what they're like. But as I say, getting back to the reason I thought of making a video is that, you know, some of the spray guns I've got, mini spray guns, because these are obviously mini guns, are nearly four times the price of these. These sell for about 100 GB pounds, including the VAT in the UK, which is about 140 US dollars at the moment, maybe slightly less. So it's not a cheap spray gun, but it's not an expensive spray gun by any means. So it's just really me revisiting something and thinking, well, you really don't need to spend that much money to, as I say, enjoy your painting and get good results. Now, when you look at these spray guns, for me, I've got quite large hands. I've got size 10 or 11, so extra large or extra large hands. I'm 6'6" and 2 meters tall basically, so I'm a big chap, so my hands are quite big anyway. But of all the spray guns I've got, and I mean absolutely every spray gun I've got, this is the most comfortable. And it's a mini gun. It's quite small compared to most mini guns. I mean, it's not an LPH50 or anything like that, or an LPH80, but it's quite small compared to the rest of them. But it fits your hand absolutely perfectly. So I would imagine if you had smaller hands, it would fit your hand perfectly as well. And for me, one of the rewarding parts is how a spray gun feels in your hand. You know, how it feels and how it feels to use is part of the reward. There's nothing worse, again I'll come back to the Sartor 440, there's nothing worse than a spray gun feeling a bit uncomfortable in your hand to just ruin the experience really. So definitely the most comfortable gun I've ever used to date. It's only small, so it's quite light anyway. You get a variation of cups. You can get the cup that comes with it, which is normally 250 millilitres. Sorry for you guys in the US, you're going to have to convert that to fluid ounces, because I'm not that good on litres and fluid ounces. But it comes with a 250 millilitre cup. You can get a 100 millilitre cup for it, and you can get a 500 millilitre cup for it. So there's good wide range of cups, and they're only about £10 each, so they're not expensive. So about $14, so they're not a load of money at all. So a really good entry level spray gun, and as I say, if you want to enter at this level and stay at this level, it will serve you for years. They're really good spray guns, very well made, not as well made as a DeVilbiss Pro Light S or SRI Pro Light as they used to be called. And you know, some of the Iwaters, the LPH80 for example, are not as well made as that, but they are very well made. You can get service kits for them, which include quite a few different parts, so you're not going to be left for too long without a spray gun, and it's not going to cost you a fortune to fix it if you need to, effectively. So, you know, a good all-round spray gun for the guy at home. A couple of the things that I find about them, which I don't like is the wrong word really. You notice some of the things I notice compared to some of the better spray guns, and by better I mean more expensive, more refined spray guns, is that they're a bit crude in their delivery. And I don't mean that they're crude the way they lay the paint. I just mean that to effectively get a good finish, you need to up the pressure. Some of the spray guns, W300 springs to mind, runs at 1.5 bar, which is about 23 psi, something like that, 24 psi, and that gives a cracking finish. With this, I put the settings on the guns anyway so that you can see them. But with this, I use 2.7 bar for the base coat, and when we get to the clear coat, I actually use 3.5 bar. So they like the pressure wound up. So don't be afraid to put the pressure up. I've had some people say to me, "Oh, you need 4 bar on these to get a good coat with a clear, etc." I've never needed to go that far. 3.5 bar seems to be absolutely fine. It may depend on the your pressure gauge as well. It depends how accurate your gauge is. One person's 2 bar might be another person's 1.8, etc. You don't know, but you need to find out what works for you. But certainly get that pressure up and see how it's going really, because as I say, they're probably one of the least refined spray guns I've got really. And I did have a full set of the R150s. I had a 0.6, 0.8, 1 and 1.2. I've actually sold all of them now. You can see the quality of the base coat really lays it on nice, ready for the clear coat. But as I say, I've sold all of them now. All I've got is an R150 in 1.2, and I've only ever had one R160 in 1.2. So I've just got one of each in 1.2, and I wanted to keep them because I enjoy using them still. But obviously I need to make room for different guns. I need to make money for different guns. So, you know, my arsenal of guns is increasing rapidly, and some of them are quite expensive, and it's just not worth me keeping some guns that I hardly use. And that's another thing I would say is if you're looking at the R160, which is obviously the only one you can get now, if you're looking at the R160 in say 0.6 for something like cycle frames, actually I think it's 0.5, sorry, it is 0.5. I'm getting that mixed up with me DeVille-Bis, which is 0.6. And 0.5, yeah, do 0.5, 0.8, 1, 1.2. I would say to you, be careful, because when you get to the smaller sizes with the ANI, and by that I mean probably 0.8 and 0.5 millimeter, they tend to be a less forgiving, in that because you need that pressure up with such a small tip, it just doesn't seem to give you as good a finish. So if you're thinking of cycle frames and things like that, yes, they work okay, yes, you can get a pretty good finish, but I would say to you, maybe look at something like an LPH50, LPH80 if you can afford it, something a bit more refined with a small fan, rather than getting an ANI, because the ANIs can be, as I say, a little bit crude, and it's something you don't seem to notice with the 1.2s and the 1.0s. It's just an observation really. If you've got yourself an ANI R150 for bike frames, you can do really good things, but it will be easier and nicer with something different most of the time, is what I would say. But doing stuff like this, 1.2, ideally 1.0 for base and 1.2 for clear, but as I say, I've just kept them in 1.2, both of them, because that's the ones I use the most really. They give a cracking finish, and they're really really underrated gun, I think. I mean, I'm on social media sometimes, and you get different various spraying forums, etc. And people tend to dismiss this, and I'm not quite sure why. They, you know, say, "Oh, I had one and it broke doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that," and I haven't used it enough maybe to break it. But the service kit contains everything you really need, unless you're dropping it or running it over. The service kit contains everything you really need. So a service kit's about £7, I think, £7-8. So there's no need to get a problem with these and like throw it away because it's unfixable, because it's too expensive. It just isn't. The only things that wear are the various seals, and they come in a kit. There's a small sealing ring behind the fluid tip, which does go sometimes. I've changed mine a few times. Having said that, they do on the FLG 5, that goes quite often. The SAF has got a similar thing. You can buy a pack, I can't remember how much, they're about £4 for 10. So it's no grief at all. It's really straightforward to do, and not that expensive. So as I say, a highly recommended spray gun, mini spray gun, will do virtually all that you want, and very, very comfortable to hold. I really still rate these, and I would, if somebody said to me, I've got 100 quid to spend on a mini spray gun, what would you recommend? I'd recommend one of these. And if somebody said I've got £100 to spend on a full size, I'd recommend the R160, because that's a cracking gun as well. Well, there's the results, guys. I think you'll agree that it's a pretty good spray gun. Just keep that pressure up, and you shouldn't have any problems with it. Lovely gun to use, as I say, and not that expensive. Just to say thanks to everybody for watching the videos and giving us a like, etc. It is much appreciated. And if you're hanging around wondering, you know, who to subscribe to on YouTube, then maybe you could think of me. All right, guys. Thanks very much for watching the videos as always. And as I say, you keep watching them, and I'll keep making them coming. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Bye bye.